Hello, snacks, and welcome to my lab. Your spider girl cutie, Pepper Senpai, and today Pepper will be doing a Pepper reads. Is there a word that starts with P that means reads? Like
Peruse.
Pepper peruses. Does that mean read?
Kind of.
Pepper peeds. Pepper reads peeds. Pepper is gonna be reading today. Nice to meet you, everybody. Hi. Nox is in the chat. Zach's in the chat. Hello. Vibe into the music. Hell yeah. Zach is trying to redeem Jackbox because he's a fucking pain in the ass. And also trying to redeem a compliment. Hey, Zach, you're a pain in the ass. Zach, you're great. You are a superb person. And fuck. Yeah. Fuck. How's everybody doing today? So we are going to be doing something kind of neat today, which is going to be, I'm going to be reading to you. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a read. It is just like yesterday. It is extremely hot out today. Today it is, I think last I checked was 97 degrees out. It feels like 106 or something. I don't remember. It's really hot out now. I checked the temperature a few minutes ago. It's extremely toasty. And apparently we're going to get some rain, so that's probably going to be like a storm. It's really cloudy all of a sudden. I bet it's going to be like a lightning storm. You can kind of see it outside right now. See that? Look at all that. Look at all that mess. But because it actually kind of makes it for a good ambiance for what we're going to be doing today. So I have talked a little bit about how I've been writing a transcript and kind of like a mini semi-novelization of one of my tabletop series, and I sort of recently finished chapter 1, which it's about 30 pages long, and I would like to read all of it to you. I would like to do a little bit of a read of our story to you, a story that was, like I said, from the tabletop, where I GM'd and I had players play the characters. So it was made by all of us together. Those players were Human, Brett, Cameron, although Cameron's doesn't show up in this one. Yeah, so Human, Brett, Cameron, Miobi, Delta, and Scarlet. And we're going to be going through that story, and I'm going to be reading it and doing some voices maybe. And I'd honestly like to see if I can turn this into a full, like, its own video at some point. This is going to be kind of like a little test run through, also just because I feel like it, because whatever, I can do what I want. Hell yeah. So, but like, it'd be cool to have like a video of it that feels more official and more professional. But this is just because I want to do it because I'm proud of it and I want to show it off. I say it's a semi-novelization because I didn't expect it to be fully novelized or whatever, but I ended up going a lot more in depth than I expected to, with like full paragraphs and introductions and blah 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 blah. But also the dialogue is written in a way where it's like normally dialogue is just, it's in the paragraphs and stuff like this. In this, I kind of wrote it line by line, specifically. So it's kind of like written in with like paragraphs. It's like in between a script and a novel is kind of, I guess, a way to put it. And we're going to be taking a look at it. And I have redeems on, so people can still do redeems. This is going to be a pretty casual experience, but I'm still going to go through the story at a relatively normal pace, maybe have some stops or something like that. I have no idea how long it's going to take me to read this. Like I said, 30 pages. Does it say the word count on here? What's my word count? 8,500. So we're going to be reading 8.6 thousand words. So that, I don't know if that'll take me like 15 minutes or if that'll take me an hour or more. So we'll see, and we'll just kind of like have fun with it. And if I don't expect it to take me like over 2 hours. So whenever I do finish it, we'll probably have some time to just like chat and hang out afterwards. Hi Sturgis! Sturgis in the chat! Yay! Spider Storytime? Hell yeah! Similar to how it'd work on a roleplay? Yeah, actually. Andre says tomorrow is Thursday, right? No, I think tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday.
No, today's Wednesday.
Is it? Oh my gosh, today's Wednesday. I thought today was Tuesday. Well, alright. Weird. That's a brain mushing time I just had in my head. I think for the entirety of today, I thought it was Tuesday. Alright. So I guess today's Wednesday then. Redeem friendship. Jodi, are you and Zach friends? Alright. Max says yesterday was scorching here too. Yeah, it's warm. It's warm. All right. So let's go over to the other screen. Okay, so it looks pretty normal. I gotta get rid of that card for now. And I'm going to put on some different music and sound effects and stuff for this, but also I'm gonna make it so you guys can read along if you so choose. Here's the story right there. I might put a little crop on it so you guys don't have to worry about the top bit. Do 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 do. Oh. 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 There you go. That's good. There you go. Now there's a bit of a crop. I am still gonna like, I think I'm gonna do that though. So it's like, there, yeah, that looks good. I'll make it a little bit larger for your reading pleasure. I wonder if I can do, what other filters do I have here? Does this work? No. I never know how to get the Streamlabs blend filters to work.
You dummy.
Oh? What happens if I do this? Is it happening? It is happening. The text went, the darkness went away. Look at that. Now it's just confusing. Huh? Contrast. I want to make it so the black goes away, but also not completely. I don't know. I'm just messing with settings right now. Because I want it to be. Yeah, we might just have it a black screen like this. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. So yeah, someone just Zach redeemed draw a card for 100 sweets. Thank you for the sweets. Yummy, yummy, so tasty. Hello, Zach. We shall do a card draw, and it's, you know what we could do? We could do that right here. You guys can watch the card draw. This is how I do it. I go to this die rolling thing, and then I type. We have 30 cards, and I just click roll. 17. We're gonna look at card 17. What's card 17 today? Card 17 is Brum. Baby Harrison. Pop. There we go. Look at that. Baby Harrison, art by me, human YouTuber. Baby Harrison is a wholesome and shy YouTuber with a passion for stories. He loves exploring identity and documenting his life through his videos. It's easy to find her info dumping about her favorite fan fiction in them too. Filled with hope and innocence, yet too scared to even curse, they hold a heart filled with love for their friends. Your toesy woesies are exposies. Hee 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 hee. Classic funny. A classic funny. Zach, you're just adding cards, or you're adding points to yourself again. That's funny. That's funny. Okay. You should just add like 1,000. No, not like 1,000. You should add like 100,000 just so you have it, so you don't have to keep doing this. Moderator powers. Okay, so we're gonna start reading. What I'm gonna do here also is I'm gonna put the link to this in the chat, so if you want to actually open up the page yourself, you can do so. So there we go. I have the link so people can actually open up the document themselves if they want to read it like alongside me. Otherwise, you can also read it on the screen as it is here as well. So you got a couple ways to look at it. Either way, I'm gonna start up some ambiance because I have some ambiance. I have some ambiance to play. Oh. Some village sounds. And some music. There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Flawless for real. Jodi didn't get the reference.
Oh,
okay. We're gonna start reading. Is everyone ready for a read? For a solid read? I mean, I gotta get one yes in the chat before we can start. Is everyone ready for a solid read? A reading sesh? A good old lore sesh. I've also, I posted this whole thing on Blue Sky and maybe Twitter, I don't know. But also my Discord server, so people can, like... So, like, if you want to read this some other time, or you can do that, or if you've already read it, then heck yeah, and thank you for being here, too. Nox says yes. Zach says shit. Okay. Let's do it. Monster Play, Chapter 1, The Hunt. I'm going to be trying to do voices for each of the characters as best I can. Okay, I'm gonna get the microphone a little closer too for some presentation sort of fanciness. The morning was strangely humid today, not a cloud in the sky to block the sun from beaming down onto the grassy landscape. The foliage of Metamok City was lush and full, perfect for a day out. So it wasn't a surprise that many came across the flyers posted across town during their outings. More of a shock was what the flyer was asking for. Assistance in committing a murder. Would you like to help murder someone? Meet me in the amphitheater by the marketplace, it said in blunt terms. One of those who came across the flyer was an owlet named Quack Raw. There we go. Quack, like the rest of his species, is an owl person with a short lifespan and a small stature. Before today, he had spent most of his life locked away in a cage alongside his sister, a prisoner to a gang of monster traffickers. Fortunately, he was rescued by his soon-to-be mentor and trained until he could return and free his sibling. However, upon doing so, he found his sister had been sold away. All he could do was get revenge upon the man who had imprisoned him, taking his very skull as a trophy. That same evening, his mentor shared the mysterious flyer with him, urging Quack to seek out this new adventure on his own. Audio good? Let me know if the audio is good. There's a picture of Quack right there. So see a good Quack image. Okay. Whoa. After a night in a cheap tavern at the edge of Metamok, Quack rose from his sleep and made his way downstairs to see a girl with deep red skin and a surprising pair of additional arms standing at the front counter. Machi Zeniferd, a Spidere with a crimson complexion and a plethora of extra limbs made of bone, just so happened to come across the flyer posted on a bounty board, piquing her interest. Now, she was at the counter, paying the owner for a good night's sleep, when the little birdman walked up to her. Music a bit loud? Okay, let me turn it down a little bit. Turn it down a little bit. How is that? Okay. Let me know if you need any more updates to the audio. I'm going to continue. Hello there. My name's Quack Raw. I noticed you're red. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. You're very short. Yes, I am red. How can I help you? She was very awkward. Or she was a very awkward girl. But then again, Quack didn't have much in terms of social skills either. This is where my voice starts to have issues with reading. Quack didn't have much in terms of social skills either. Just looking around, noticed you kind of stood out. I see you have a note there. Quack pointed at the flyer she held in her hand, an exact match to his own. I do have a note here. Looks kind of similar to mine. You also got one? Are you going to kill someone too? Maybe? I'm not sure. I killed someone last night. Feeling weird about it. Quack says, his eyes tracking down to the gray devil skull tied to his belt. Why did you kill someone? He trapped me in a cage for years, he said unceremoniously. Yeah, that's fair. Yup. After standing there awkwardly for a second, the man at the counter sighs vehemently at the pair. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't paid. Hold on. Machi quickly drops some coins on the counter and moves on, quickly followed by Quack. So this note here says to meet at the Marketplace Amphitheater, but it doesn't say when. I'd figured we just head there. I gotta be honest, I feel like this guy's playing us. This note is just too darn plain. I haven't been around the block too much, but I think he might be setting us up. Which is great, because if I'm right about this, we could end up with a free body. As long as I don't end up in a cage, I'm happy. The two of them exit the building and head south towards the market. They cut through a couple of short alleyways until they reach a dirt path that leads them into this wide open field. There they see at least 100 different stalls, each with a colorful canopy and filled with trinkets, books, and tools sold by the vendor. The whole place is bustling with activity as transaction after transaction is made. At the edge of the field, they see what appears to be an unkempt stadium, with grass and vines growing over the stage and seats. They approach to find several others waiting and idling about. Machi walks up and taps one of them on the shoulder. This audio is better? Okay. That was a fucking cow. It actually kind of scared me. Love the sound effect. Alright. Okay. Still good? So, yeah. They approach to find several others waiting and idling about. Machi walks up and taps one of them on the shoulder. Hiya, my name's Machi. Are you also here for this job? Machi holds the flyer up, standing just a little too close for comfort for the woman in front of her. Okay, now I have to figure out an echo voice. Yeah. Awesome, we are too. I'm very excited. Do you have any idea where this guy is? She asks somewhat pesteringly, hoping for an easy answer. No, I'm not really that active outside the forest, so this is all new. Echo has a noticeable accent, but not one that would normally be expected from a devil. Her hair is icy blue, and she wears a mask similar to Machi's mouth covering, although Machi assumes it's unlikely to be for the same reason as her, as a devil wouldn't have the need to hide an unhingeable jaw from the masses. Just then, the conversation is interrupted by a hand attempting to reach into Echo's pockets, immediately caught by her steely grip. What are you doing? She questions sternly. Yeah, you got one of those note thingies too, right? Yes. Would you kindly take your hand out of my pocket? Sure thing, Chief. You're the boss. The demon raises his hands in surrender and backs away. He's got a large coat on, despite the weather, and his horns poke high past his forehead. I'm gonna read that line again. He's got a large coat on, despite the weather, and his horns poke high past his forehead. Echo is quick to associate them with that of a shark's fin jutting out of the surface of the water. He appears to be down on his luck, his clothes being obvious hand-me-downs. And here's a picture of Mikhail, the character we just met. There he is, Mikhail, the demon character, with his horns. Across the theater, a minute earlier, a human guard stands watch among the crowd, and notices a hooded figure standing at the edge of the stage, watching them. This guard, seemingly from the capital rather than Metamok, also came across the flyer on a bounty board and wanted to see what all the fuss was about, particularly the part mentioning the murder. Mikhail, on the other hand, traveled here in search of his parents, believing this flyer may have something to do with their disappearance. Noticing the pickpocket, the guard moves in on the group.
What the heck's going on?
Nothing's going on. Mikhail shrugs innocently. Just talking about notes. Just a slight misunderstanding. Echo scowls at Mikhail as he backs away, only to see him be nearly knocked over by the advancing guard, staring down at him. Mikhail turns to notice the ingenious marker on his armor, a symbol that this was a superhuman watchman. The name Marlon Deimos was stained into the badge in gold. Before Mikhail could make a run from the official, however, the hooded figure Marlon saw earlier leaps down onto the stage from the rafters above them, quickly ending their confrontation with a loud thud of their boots. She removes her hood to reveal short, deep red hair and a smile that seems brash with overconfidence. "Are you all ready to kill somebody?" she shouts enthusiastically in an attempt to hype the crowd up. "Hell yeah. Wait, what?" "Already on it." Quack holds up the skull from his belt loop, and the woman smiles. "Hell yes, bird person!" She stands with her hands at her hips as she introduces herself with a dry yet bold voice. Music change. My name is Rio Raynell, and today I will be bringing you on a quest of wonder, peril, and danger. We will be killing the Goblin King. Are you all ready for adventure? Rio shouts and raises her fist in the air. At the thought of tasty goblin meat, Machi begins to drool in her mask. Yes, she yelps, already ready to go. I'm hesitant about the whole killing situation, but I'm still interested in for curiosity's sake, and the prize at the end. Is he a bad king? At that, Rio shrugs. I don't know. He's a goblin. Sounds like food. Let's go. I do like food. See? This guy gets it.
Curious.
He is nearby here. Let us all go. Those brave enough, follow me. The woman turns to begin marching away, but pauses and looks back at everyone. And thank you for showing up. I've been searching for the Goblin King for a long time. All my previous groups have died. That bodes well. Do we get paid for this? Yeah, do we get paid for this? You can keep whatever you find on the way, as well as your honor. Rio nods at the crowd as if that should obviously be enough. Sounds like a plan. Apparently it's enough for some. Did the Goblin King do something to you, or... Rio smiles and raises her sword triumphantly. I just want to kill a king. Morally ambiguous. Sounds great. Quack raises an eyebrow.
Why, though?
Well, all these goblins are pillaging and raiding our towns, killing our people. I don't know if it's their king ordering it, but we might as well kill him and put a stop to them all anyways. I'm sure he's out there somewhere.
Wait, do you even know if there is a king?
No. She responds casually, as if that's a non-issue.
Okay. Maybe we should figure that out first.
That's the point of the adventure. We find the king, and we kill him. With everyone's attention on Rio, Mikhail decides to make the most of the situation and carefully reaches towards Quack's feathers to pickpocket his pouch of gold. All the while, the crowd is shifting around uncomfortably at Rio's proposed plan, many of them beginning to walk off as the conversation lingers on. Hatsune Mikhail? Wow, Zach, wow. Everyone have any thoughts so far? Stop messing around. Pay attention to my speech. I don't know if I read the last line before that. All the while, the crowd is shifting around uncomfortably at Rio's proposed plan, many of them beginning to walk off as the conversation lingers on. Stop messing around. Pay attention to my speech. Quack looks around nervously. The rest seem rather unsure as well, except for Mikhail, who is just standing there with a proud smile on his face. So he decides to turn to Machi for thoughts.
Are you sure about all this? This seems a little off. I don't know.
I mean, think about it this way. If there are no goblins, we can just eat her, ridding everyone of an annoyance.
Why are all your decisions based upon eating people?
You know, that's a great question. I've been trying to break that habit because it's a horrible stereotype based entirely in truth. My species eats everyone. No one likes us because of that, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Machi looks down awkwardly. Yeah, I'm trying to break that. Sorry. Quack is unsure how to even approach that one.
At least you're working on it.
He turns back to the rest of the group and asks them instead.
Are you all in for this?
Mikhail, disinterested and counting his coins, replies with a strong opinion of his own. Maybe. Lol, I'm liking it. Hell yeah. Serge says it's nice. Yay! Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad. I'm excited to write more of this. All just transcript from more of the sessions, but still, it's cool to be able to do this. Monik says, an adventure for the sake of fighting? Sounds fun to me. Is it just for fighting, or is there more to the story we don't know about? Zach says, audio is good, by the way. Maybe turn down the sound effects a little. There was a couple of parts with chatter and it almost matched you. Really? Okay. How about that? Let me know if this is good. Rio impatiently jumps from the stage and exclaims excitedly before anyone else has a chance to chime in. All right, perfect. Follow me. I guess we no longer have a choice. Let's go. Rio begins marching away from the amphitheater, a select few deciding to follow her while the rest have gone on with their day. And with that, the party sets off. Quack Ra, a hesitant but determined Owlay Ranger. Machi Zeniford, the curious and hungry Spidere Druid. Echo Knight, a quiet but headstrong Devil Outlander. Mikhail Turnblade, a mischievous and mysterious Demon Rogue. Marlon Deimos, an inquisitive and seemingly watchful human guard. And Rio Raynell, the brash and blunt human spellsword. And here is an image of Rio Raynell herself. I love her. It's more in the background now, so it's good? Or is it like 2 in the background? The audio or the sound effects, Zach. Thank you. Is it 2 in the background or is it like good in the background? It's good? Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna continue on then with the next part of the chapter. They pass through the south gates and exit Metamok City into the thinly settled outskirts, full of farms and grassy plains. They walk for a short while until they come to an intersection, splitting off into 2 separate paths going east and west respectively. So, there are a few places I think the goblins could be hiding. Rio stops and turns to face the band of adventurers. The fresh, wet cave to the east, or the wetlands to the west? Everything's wet? Yes. Quack hesitates at the idea of anywhere closed in, his imprisonment fresh on his mind. He responds, his voice shaking.
I don't know if I'd want to go into a cave. Seems kind of cramped in there. Maybe wetlands would be better?
Machi, however, seems to think differently. Caves may be a better option, though, because there you can't get your feet stuck. Quack is quick to combat this.
I got wings.
I'll go with the cave. I'm gonna say cave. Onwards! Rio has great style. Hell yeah. Thank you. She's one of the characters that I've made that I like a lot. Like, quite a bit. The party turns eastward, making their way towards the caves. Worrying about what they may bring, Quack thinks to himself that some airtime might ease his mind.
I'll scout ahead.
Go ahead, bird person. Sorry, had a little bit of burpee. Sorry. Quack opens his wings and bends his knees before catapulting himself up into the sky with a hefty whoosh. After only a few seconds, the party already looks like ants beneath him. The land below is marvelous from up here. He can see the marshy wetlands far behind them and a group down below. His goal, however, is to seek out the path to the caves. He turns his head forwards, only to see a sudden cloud immediately ahead. He's already moving too quickly to escape it, and ends up flying directly into its thick mist. Thank you for the sweets, Nonix. I shall take a sippy sippy. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Refreshing. Especially on such a warm day. He's already moving too quickly to escape it, and ends up flying directly into its thick mist. Dizzied and somewhat shocked, he returns back to the ground, a bit ashamed at his performance.
There's a lot of cloud up there, I don't know.
I think you're supposed to look around when you scout ahead.
Something got in my eye, alright?
Looking back up, Quack sees that he had managed to fly into the only cloud in a sky of empty blue. Anyone else want to take point? Ma'am, you're the one leading us into a possible death trap. I'm just here for adventure.
Then why do you need us?
Well, I don't want to die.
Then you've chosen the wrong people.
Brushing off Mikhail's dependable response, Quack replies,
What makes you think we're gonna die? Or what makes you think you're gonna die? I don't want to go into something too dangerous.
Yeah, if this is too much, I'm getting out of here. Quack walks up to Rio, quite frustrated with her at this point.
Since you're the one who wants to do this, why don't you lead us to the cave?
Machi nods in agreement and Mikhail crosses his arms as he watches on. I don't want to. Every party I've led this far, they've ended up dead. I'm taking a break from leading.
Why are they dying? Is it goblins killing them?
It's a lot. Is it you? Rio looks at Machi, a pained expression painted upon her face, her entire mood having completely shifted suddenly. She replies softly, "It's not me." Echo rolls her eyes, tired of standing around, and walks forward while pushing everyone else aside. Just a second, I'm gonna put the card... I'm gonna put the card... Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put the card just below... There you go. I'm putting it below so you can still see the image, but it was kind of covering some of the text sometimes, so this should make things a little bit easier. The group just looks at each other and then decides to follow the self-appointed scout. The last thing they want is more confrontations, so instead they all go quiet and march along. They walk for nearly 2 hours, passing first a beachside, then moving through an enormous orchard of white trees, before finally arriving at what appears to be a massive mound. It was too big to be a hill, but too small to be a mountain. Atop it was a dread willow, a type of gargantuan tree normally home to entire clans of demons. This one seems to be completely abandoned, however, as its branches hung low and broken. At the base of the hill was a cave, opening immediately down into darkness. The entrance had some decorative markings painted upon the walls, as well as some sort of fabrics hung up like banners, blowing in the breeze. On either side of the cave, there were overgrown paths, slithering up the sides and around the base of the dread willow. This must be it. I mean, it looks like a cave to me. Shall we go in? Man, this seems like a death trap. I'll go in, but I'm not going first. Marlin, with the previous pickpocketing still on his mind, decides this is apparently the perfect time to be guardly, as he walks up to stand beside Mikhail.
Everyone keep your hands to yourself while we're in there.
He turns to speak directly at Mikhail now.
And you keep your spindly fingers away from others' belongings.
Sure, Chief. Mikhail's voice shakes for a second, surprised by the sudden accusation, but he's not the type to bow down to authority, and replies sarcastically, "You're the boss." Or, wrong voice. You're the boss.
You speak like a goblin, despite being a not goblin.
That's kind of rude. Machi leaps forward and decides to chime in with her own thoughts. You know, not all goblins are bad, she says, halting the showdown. Aren't we on the path to kill their king? Yeah, but not all of them are bad. I've met a couple nice ones. One of them killed my sister last week. Rio's the next one to interrupt, this time with something a lot more grim and out of nowhere. Like I said, not all of them are great. Machi's reply is awkward, but what else could she say? Another one killed my mom the week before. Machi gives in and goes quiet. If you've been hunting goblins for a while, do you think that might be your fault? No. Rio's adamant ability to be so straightforward at all times is really starting to be something, so Quack gives in as well. Alright. A whistling wind brushes past them and into the cave as they speak, sending a chill down Quack's spine. Machi steps forward and examines the fabrics and markings outside the entrance. This seems more like a hoarding cave rather than that of a goblin one. I don't like it. Well, I do! Rio grabs Quack by the wing and starts tramping down into the dark mouth of the cave, the alloy going into an immediate panic. Why me? Why me? Why? Wait, hold on. We need him. Machi runs up to them at the edge of the darkness and grabs Quack's other wing, only to find herself being dragged along as well.
Machi, help!
I'm trying, but she's too strong. What does this woman eat? A lot of vegetables. And pork. Rio replies calmly as they begin to disappear into the shadows. Echo calls out to them. Shouldn't we find a different way in instead? Rio pauses and grows a sly smile at Echo's initiative before freeing Quack and Machi from her grasp and turning to face the red-eyed devil. Which way would that be? Maybe we should take a look for the side entrance. I don't think... so we don't go straight into danger. Quack, out of breath, adds. I mean... Oh, start giving Quack the Echo accent.
I mean, we don't even know if these people are even enemies yet.
That's true. We probably shouldn't kill them if they're just minding their own business. Machi stands up straight, thoughts brewing in her mind. Rio, you like to kill them because of what they did to your sister and mother? They did that recently, but... well, I've been hunting them for way longer than that. You don't sound very broken up about it. Not really.
They probably have a vendetta against you.
They might. Next to nothing seems to break Rio's lackadaisical attitude.
What if we brought you in fake captured so you could get close to them?
I could trust you guys if you don't tie me up too much.
If your family was only killed these past few weeks, why haven't you been hunting them for months?
She was already hunting them before they killed her family.
Oh, I thought them killing your sister and mother was the driving force here.
Nope. I've been wanting to kill these fuckers for a while.
Well, if we're gonna bring you back, or bring you in pretend captured, I should probably tie your hands behind your back.
I'm kinda nervous about that, but it is a good idea.
Think about it. Have you ever gotten this close?
Yeah?
This close with their guard down?
No. Good point. Okay, you can tie my hands, but do it loosely. We could also give you something of ours for a sense of safety. So if we were to run away from you, we'll be losing that very important thing. I like that idea. Perhaps I could keep it if you die. Rio turns to Quack and points at the skull tied to his belt. Hey, bird person. I like that skull. Quack holds the skull close to his chest, as if cradling a child.
I also like my skull. I don't know if I'd be willing to...
I'll do your plan if you let me wear it as a hat.
As a hat?
As a hat. Quack's defenses are immediately broken by Rio's absurdity. His response is to just stare at her with a bewildered expression. Wouldn't they just take a hat from you? Alright. I'll just put it in my pack then.
Anyone else want to offer something up?
Why? Is that skull important to you?
Quite. It's the skull of the man who imprisoned me.
What if I offered you my necklace instead? Echo tags in to try and help. What's it worth to ya? It's my grandmother's, so it's kinda important. I'll take it. Echo hands it over to Rio, who's quick to snatch it and tie it around her neck. Echo grimaces at the sight of the stranger wearing her treasured heirloom, but Quack pulls her to the side before she can think too long on it. He whispers to her his concerns.
Hey, I'm planning on tying her tightly and not letting her get out. I don't know if you want to offer up your necklace. I don't think Rio has the best intentions.
It's fine. If anything happens, I'll just find her and kill her. Quack returns to normal speaking voice, surprised at Echo's confident answer.
Oh, then you're fine if we offer it up?
Yeah, as long as we don't lose her.
Okay.
The duo return back to the main group.
This works,
he says, satisfied.
So, Rio, is this sufficient enough for you?
As long as you don't bind me up too badly. I need to fight, if it comes to it.
Well, your weapon also shouldn't be visible on you. Can you conceal it, or let us hold on to it? We can throw it to you when it's time.
Mikhail's ears perk up, his eyes shining with clear, ulterior motive.
I'll hold on to it.
I'd prefer to keep it underneath my cloak. Marlin raises his head.
Cloaca?
He says under his breath, realizing he had been staring at Quack. I don't have... Excuse me? Cloak. I said cloak. Rio just gawks at him, confused. But soon enough, her hands are tied tightly enough behind her back, using some of Quack's hemp rope. I like how you can probably tell, Snacks, when all of a sudden there is something that is very much so tabletop groups being tabletop groups and having really silly, like, interruptions like that. You may be able to notice some of those happen every once in a while throughout the story. Hey, this is a bit firm.
Yup, all for the convincing.
I don't know about this. But if it's too loose, they'll think we're cheating them. Rio takes a few seconds, but hesitantly agrees in the end. I guess that makes sense. They're planning quite a betrayal, heh? It seems like it. With Rio restricted, the party forms up at the cave's entrance. Up front, Marlin has his weapon drawn and leads the pack. Behind him, Quack holds out his own glaive, pointed at Rio, who stands beside him. Up next is Machi, who stands ready with her mace, followed by Echo and Mikil taking up the rear. Together, they slowly and cautiously enter the cavern, into seemingly pitch black darkness. And here's a drawing of Echo, looking real cool, real icy, real serious. Cool character. Total kudere right here. Okay, next part. With new music. As we start to enter the cave. Since there's also more new sounds and stuff, you have to let me know if this is good audio-wise and all that. As they proceed into the depths, they begin to see a faint light glowing from the darkness. Posted up on the left wall of the cavern is a dingy-looking torch. It's nearly burnt all the way out, but still barely bright enough to provide a dim glimmer. Directly next to it is a rotted wooden door, leading through an opening in the wall. Marlin pulls out his own torch to light up the rest of their surroundings. Audio's good? Cool, thank you. The cavern is rather average looking, not too big and not too small. On the far end of the cavity is a tunnel, lined with rows of old wooden chairs and an aisle in the middle for walking. They are somewhat scattered, with some toppled over and others completely fallen apart. On the right side of the cavern is yet another tunnel, this one going in a downward incline into further blackness.
Hello! Any goblins?
Quack shouts, his voice reverberating off the walls around them. No other sounds can be heard besides the dripping of water from the stalactites in the ceiling. Mikhail decides to part from the formation and approach the wooden door to the left. He knocks upon it and hears a sudden metallic clattering from the other side. He turns and calls to the group. There's a metal clanking back here. The rest of the party joins him.
Have you tried opening the door?
If you'd like to go first, you may be my guest.
Alright, Marlin, if you want to hold the captive we have here at knife point, I'll go check.
Oh, Marlin is given the wrong colors here. Whoopsie daisy. Marlin is this color.
Okay, I shall keep watch.
Marlin repositions his glaive towards Rio as Quack carefully opens the door. It's heavy and damp with mold and creaks open quite loudly. A plank, poorly positioned to try and keep the door shut from the other side, falls to the ground with a noisy clatter. Poking his head inside, Quack can see a set of stairs carved into the stone, going downwards to the left.
Are we all good for going down this way?
Echo grabs the dim torch from the wall by the door and peeks down. It helps somewhat, but the bottom is still beyond the light's reach. Mikhail tries tossing a rock down the stairs to at least see if he can judge the distance. It clacks down step after step until a soft thud is heard, followed by a sudden chittering and scrambling at the bottom. A distant patter of footsteps can be heard, slowly quietening as if something ran away.
We mean you no harm. We have a captive here for you.
Quack calls. I don't think this is a good idea. Why don't we make them come to us instead? Maybe Quack just needs to be better, maybe Quack just needs to be more persuasive.
We have a gift for your king. Do you have a king?
He calls again. We have this lady who has been killing you guys for months now. Mm-hmm. Their voices echo off the walls, but they receive no reply from the shadows. Marlin steps back and decides to examine more of the main room. Resting in the middle of the cavern, he finds a stone throne perched upon several slabs of granite. Sat upon the throne, he sees a few shiny baubles and metal pieces. On either side of the chair appear to be endless pits opening up into the floor, each a meter or so wide. They are lucky to not have fallen into either on their way in here. Past the throne and in the tunnel of chairs, he sees a very faint glare of light, barely visible at this distance. What do you see, big guy? Marlin rolls his eyes at the subtle jab.
Well, the weather up here is pretty nice, being the big guy that I am. But I noticed some trinkets over here.
Marlin motions towards the shiny metals upon the throne. In response, both Mikhail and Machi immediately bolt over. With a closer look, they can see that there are a ton of metal shards, a few rusty goblets, and an iron dagger or two. Marlin, examining the two pits, sees that both also have a dim light emanating from within, one blue and one red. He grabs one of the metal shards and drops it into the red hole. It seems to take a few seconds for the piece to hit the bottom, but when it does, there's a splash, followed by a faint sizzling sound. Suddenly, 4 gold coins shoot out of the opposite hole and land at Marlin's feet. Mikhail's eyes instantly light up. Alright, I'm liking this. Marlin picks up and examines the gold pieces to notice they are real coins, albeit a little warm and damp. He decides to give them to Mikhail, who excitedly pockets them. Meanwhile, Quack speaks to Rio, back over at the stairs.
Have you been in this cave before?
I've explored many other goblin hideouts, but never this one.
Were they like this?
They were different, but I can still smell goblin in the walls.
Are they federal agents?
What?
Never mind. Where do you think they could be?
Probably in the darkest places, so most likely down these stairs. Across the room, Mikhail is dumping more stuff into the red pit. He gathers a few ancient coins from the scrap pile and drops them in, causing a gold nugget to shoot out from the blue pit and land at his feet. Machi watches on in amazement at the whole thing. Oh my, this is amazing! Mikhail adds the gold to his growing collection, while Marlin tosses an unlit torch inside to see what happens. The splash is heard again, but then only silence. Machi carefully peers into the pit. After a long pause, the usual sizzling is heard, only to be interrupted by a loud kerchunk rumbling throughout the cavern, almost as if some heavy pipes were suddenly clogged up. Ah, you broke the hole. Disappointed, Machi leaves Marlin and Mikhail to skulk around the pits while she rejoins the others, still contemplating by the stairs. She strides right by them and takes a single step down the deep, dark staircase. Hey, you guys want to come? Instead of a reply from the party, Machi is scared by a high-pitched chattering and scrambling from the darkness in front of her, causing her to leap back. Oblivious to the situation, Mikhail is far too distracted by the gold-producing pit anyways, having experimented with dropping a rock down both the red and blue pits, only to hear the plugged kerchunk again. He stands back with clear frustration in his eyes. Can't believe you broke the hole, Marlin. An echoing croak from the shadows freezes the pair in their tracks. They turn in the direction of the throne and hear a scraping sound from the darkness. Slowly getting closer, they both take a step back, their hands drift towards their weapons. Step. 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 closer and closer it gets until Marlin breaks for a sprint towards the stairway to call the others. Sergeant says it feels like they're walking into an ambush. Maybe. How's everyone feeling about the story? What do everyone think about the characters and what's happening? Closer and closer it gets until Marlin breaks for a sprint towards the stairway to call the others.
Hey, I'm hearing some craziness up here. I don't know what.
We're hearing some crazy stuff down here, too.
Quack and Marlin's shouts echo loudly off the walls, turning the faint chittering sounds into frantic screeches. The party readies their weapons and Mikhail calls to the rest, having been left alone by the throne.
Get up here. If we get blocked out of our only escape route, we're going to be in big trouble. We can come up, but we should probably make some more progress in finding these goblins.
I think the progress is coming to meet us. That's like a Scooby-Doo line right there. The footsteps grow louder and louder, quicker and quicker. Ah, Mooper, thank you! Yay! Mooper is back full tummy. Thank you, Mooper. Yay. I'm enjoying it a lot. Heck yeah, I'm so glad. The footsteps grow louder and louder, quicker and quicker.
You seem to not care about the imminent danger. I think we should deal with that before we press on. Fine, back up the stairs.
Quack's eyes dart around in distress as he and the rest climb over one another to reach the exit back into the main cavern, only to find themselves stuck at the top, facing the same danger as Mikhail. Looking out beyond the staircase doorway, they see a dark and gangly silhouette stepping out from the shadows. A goblin finally shows its face. It appears to be tired and worn out, covered in dust and grime, but its eyes glaring directly into theirs. It shouts at them with a high-pitched screech as it pulls out a dagger. Despite its aggressive behavior, it looks like it's barely able to stand. Quack takes a step forward.
Hello, friend.
But before he can continue, Marlin lunges at the goblin in an attempt to restrain it. He manages to grab the arm holding the dagger, but the goblin uses its free hand to scratch across his face. Marlin lifts the goblin off the ground as it struggles in his grasp.
Hey, little guy, are you okay? Why are you attacking our friend?
The goblin's only response to Quack is an aggressive hiss and growl.
Can you understand me?
It hisses again. Sounds like a no.
Alright, Marlin, keep him steady so he doesn't hurt anyone.
Do you speak Goblinese?
Goblinese? They speak Pokrik. Miko examines the restrained goblin more closely. It's rather emaciated and wears only a pair of trousers with a satchel by its side. Naturally, the needy demon decides to begin rummaging through the goblin's belongings, quickly pocketing 5 gold pieces from it. Hey, Rio, is this one of the guys who's been attacking you? Because if you haven't been able to kill them yet, you're kinda sad. That's just one goblin out of at least, 200. I don't know, kinda seems like he's alone here. Machi says, looking around, and with perfect timing, a second goblin appears behind them, halfway down the stairs and climbing in their direction. This one seems more prepared for a fight, dressed in full chainmail and holding a short sword. Marlin attempts to quickly disarm the first goblin so as to be able to move on to the second, but only manages to get his face swiped at again. Okay, I also just want to say, hi Mooper, hi Mama, and everyone, hell yeah! Ooh, funny monster, Mooper Lurk, okay, and thank you so much again, Mooper, for becoming a full tummy, yay, thank you so much. I wanted to give you real, true thanks. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the story. In his own attempt at defusing the situation, Quack rummages through his coin pouch for gold to offer, only to find it completely void of any coins. He panics again and looks all around for some other thing to offer them before finally deciding to awkwardly hold out his staff.
Here, friend, take this, a gift.
Yet again, hissing is the only response. So, Echo tries to take charge and push everyone through the doorway and back into the main cavern, holding the door for them all to get out. They all manage to stumble over one another until only Machi is left on the stairs with the second goblin. Come on, I'm gonna shut it in. Wait, I have an idea. Machi raises her hand to her face and lowers her mask for the goblin to see. Her ferocious, spidery mandibles unfurl at the creature as she stares it down, her eyes calm and focused. She's careful to face away from Echo, not wanting anyone to see her exposed mouth. She turns her hand toward the goblin, and an alluring green glow shines from her palm, increasing in brightness and culminating in a sudden flash of light. Before it can react, a poisonous spray shoots from her fingertips and covers the goblin's face. It screeches in pain as its skin starts to boil, sagging away from the bone and falling to the floor. Its deathly howls turn into gurgles as it lurches backwards and falls down the stairs, dead in seconds. Echo stares in horror and disgust at the sudden gore before her. You. Well, I'm not eating that. And there's some art by Human herself, the person who played Machi and designed Machi, with a drawing by her of this very situation. You can see her hand poking out on the staircase there, and it's pretty good art. I love it. Machi replaces her mask and turns back to Echo, stepping past her to meet the rest out in the main room. Echo shifts out of her way and looks back down at the carcass in disgust. She breathes in deep and shuts the door behind them, only to be met with a strange sight at the main room. Marlin stands there, still clutching the remaining goblin in his hand, but he suddenly seems to drop it, only to bring it to his foot, right into its backside, punting it several meters across the room. The goblin lands in a heap on the ground and gasps for breath. It slowly staggers back to its feet, pained and bruised. Grasping its dagger with white knuckles, it makes a dash for Quack Raw, the smallest of the group. Quack easily sidesteps the lunge and brings his staff down on the back of the goblin's head. It immediately goes stiff and slumps over in a daze, allowing Mikhail to bind it in rope. Combat over? Quack looks around and notices that Rio is nowhere in sight.
Where's Rio?
Did we lose our only lead?
Echo, did you see where she went? She was right next to you.
No, but if I see her again, I'll kill her.
Wait, we didn't leave her down the stairs, did we?
Quack, Machi, and Echo walk over and open the stairway door. From the bottom, they hear a voice calling to them. Can someone let me out of here? I'm rolling around in something sticky. They walk down the staircase to see Rio still tied up and now fallen over and bruised at the bottom, seemingly having lost her balance when everyone was struggling to get out. She's now lying on her back, with a melted goblin on top of her. A disgruntled Quack unties her from her bonds and pulls the corpse away. Hey Jodi, how was the trip?
It was pretty good. Would you mind muting for 1 second?
Sure. Okay. Thank you for going shopping, Jodi.
You're welcome.
Serta says, ooh, something sticky. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's the good type of sticky.
Pepper, I'm not sure for you there is a good type of sticky.
Well, if it's fictional, then I'm cool with a lot of types of sticky.
Okay, fair.
I don't like real sticky, but if it's, like, imaginary sticky, then I'm all for it. Yeah, unfortunately, this is more like gore sticky.
Okay.
That's okay.
Just moving that, I realized it made a lot of noise.
That's okay. Oh, God, finally.
Sorry, this has gotten a little weird. I thought the goblins would talk to me.
Does anyone have a wipe or a cloth? I need to get whatever this is off of me. Echo rips a piece of fabric from her pant leg and tosses it to Rio. Oh, thank you so much. That was horrid. Rio squirms back to her feet and wipes off any remaining goblin slop from her body. Mostly clean and satisfied now, she holds up the gore-covered cloth to Echo. Do you need this back? Echo looks at it, then back at Rio. No. She marches back up the stairs, Quack following quickly behind her. Rio looks back at the cloth and awkwardly just drops it on the floor before making her way up the stairs herself, passing by Machi at the top. Looking back to make sure they're all gone first, Machi swipes the dirty cloth and stores it away in her pack before joining the rest once more. I'm so sorry, Sergeant. It wasn't a good sticky. It wasn't a vor sticky. I'm so sorry. Only in our imaginaries we can imagine it. Back upstairs, Marlin is emptying the remains of the goblin's satchel into the red hole, leaving their prisoner completely unattended. Quack sees this and rushes over to it to keep it from escaping their guard's watchful duty. The pit is echoing a loud plugged-up sound again with all the junk being dropped into it. Interestingly enough, though, several golden shards shoot out of the blue pit and land at Marlin's feet anyways. Picking them up, they almost seem as if they were supposed to be gold coins, but ended up deformed and shredded apart. Yet imagine a pool of goo or slime. That would be a lot nicer, huh? Goo and slime can be quite fun, especially in our sort of stories. Surge it. Wink, 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 wink.
I don't get it.
Thank you, Jodi.
So, Rio, we have this goblin. What should we do now?
Did you ask it where the king is?
I did, but all it does is hiss and scratch. Do you speak Pokrick?
No, I don't. I've just been stabbing most of the goblins I come across.
Martin looks over his shoulder at the pair and sees Rio.
How did you get out of your ropes?
Quagra untied me. You remembered his name. You're so sweet. Yeah, well, I like you guys. You're pretty cool so far. I hope you live. As usual, Rio says this as if it's something normal.
I hope you live too.
With how things turned out from the previous parties, I want at least one group to make it through, you know? Yeah, you don't seem super experienced in leading, despite the fact you've done this multiple times. I'm good at fighting, but leading is not my strong suit.
Quack looks at the two pits and turns to Marlin. So, Marlin, what was going on with that hole there?
It seems like when we throw metal bits in, sometimes gold comes out. But it was getting weird earlier.
So when you throw stuff in, something you want comes out?
It seems it only works with metal so far. Like the others before him, Quack leans over and peers into both pits. Deep in thought, he paces back and forth, thinking out loud.
So we can't speak Pokrick, and we need to know where the king is. What if we throw this goblin in and a map comes out?
The party just stares at him for a few seconds.
That is a very long shot. It is, but a very long shot, but I can't speak Pokrick.
What if we sing to it? Perform a universal gesture of peace?
Yeah, and why don't we start with the fact that we beat them up, tied them up, and jacked their crap? We have to consider we basically just robbed them.
What if I draw to get him to tell us where the Goblin King is? Does anyone have anything to draw with?
I have a book.
And anything to write with?
Blood.
Oh.
Machi pulls out the gore-covered pant leg and holds it in her outstretched hand.
Oh.
Quack hesitantly takes the cloth from her and looks at it with disgust. Machi then rips a page from their book and hands that to Quack next. Marlin just watches on, dumbfounded.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We walked into their home, they initiate an attack against us, we melt one of this guy's buddies, and then pacify him via club to the head, tie him up, then write a message on a piece of paper to try and convince him we're his friend, by using his buddy's own blood as ink.
When you put it that way. Unfortunately, before a moral conclusion can be reached, Quack holds up a masterpiece of artwork drawn in blood and death. And there it is. That is the masterpiece of artwork right there. He smiles at his work confidently as he shows it to the awakening goblin, just coming out from its daze. It takes one look at the page and begins to whimper and tear up, squirming and pulling at its ropes. Quack points his staff at the goblin and demands it stop, using his voice as if talking to a disobedient pet.
Hey, hey!
It stops and looks up at Quack. Its eyes are red with tears. Machi walks up to it and decides to gently pet the goblin upon its head. It just continues to cry, but Machi pets it anyway. This is not working. The goblin lays on the ground, still crying. So Machi stops and looks up to the rest of the party. I'm out of ideas. Anybody else?
Can I try one more thing?
Quack shifts the goblin back into sitting position and faces it to the exit of the cave and points. It seems confused, but otherwise has no new reaction. Quack turns it and points it at the tunnel to the right. Still no new reaction. Excuse me. He tries the throne next, and the goblin's cries just get a little bit worse.
Well, it really loves its king.
He then turns it to the stairway, which causes it to tilt its head and look almost longingly at it.
Huh. Anyone have any thoughts?
Well, it gets really depressed when we point it at the throne. So maybe the king is dead? Quack's voice sinks at the possibility.
Oh.
He shakes it off and turns to their leader for more answers.
Rio, what if the Goblin King is already dead and these were the last two?
I've killed a bunch, but I don't think these would be the last two. Quack sits down on the cavern floor and fumbles with his pockets. A common calming technique he would use in his time being caged. But this time it helps him remember something he didn't have time to look into earlier on.
By the way, does anyone know where my gold went?
Confused and suddenly anxious for their own affairs, the rest of the party checks their coin pouches to find all of theirs still there. Machi, however, notices that Mikhail is the only one not checking his pouch or pockets. Mikhail, did you steal it? What? Why are you accusing me? You were trying to steal Echo's gold during our first interaction. I didn't steal anything off of her. Well, who else has been obsessed with gold this whole time? I'm just saying, if anyone's gonna take it, it's gonna be either Echo or Mikhail. I only have one pouch, though. The party becomes increasingly more paranoid.
Very convenient, Echo.
Which is why it's probably you. What are you guys even arguing about? Coins?
It was 120 gold. Kind of a lot, actually.
Couldn't be me. I don't have 120 gold. I just have this gold nugget. Miko holds up the gold nugget for the party to gawk at. Can I have it? No, you cannot have the gold nugget. Fine. Are we gonna move on, or is this like an important matter? Nah, we can move on. Why do you want to move on so badly, Rio? Because I want to kill a goblin. I didn't get to kill anything this time. Rio looks down at the remaining goblin with a bit more remorse in her eyes. Can I do this one?
If you have no other way of finding the Goblin King, sure. I'll leave you to your methods.
So you're cool with me killing this guy?
Only if you don't know how else to extract information from it. I kind of hoped you'd be able to.
That's not really my thing. Ew, I don't want to see a goblin die. Besides, you can't get much information out of a corpse.
I feel like this is why this doesn't go too well for you normally, Rio.
That would make sense. The group stands around looking at each other awkwardly. Welcome back, Zach. You turned. Your niece wanted attention. Okay, nice. Well, thank you for coming back. Heck yeah, happy to have you again. The group stands around looking at each other awkwardly. We could use him as a hostage.
Yeah, reverse what we were doing with Rio.
That sounds cool.
They seem really sad when their friends die.
Yeah, it seemed pretty upset when it first came at us, too. Looked a bit bruised up already, even.
Did you fight him or something already?
No, I haven't seen this goblin before. It came out from that direction. Rio points her sword in the direction of the tunnel behind the throne, the one with the rows of chairs. They all peek around at the mysterious hole in the wall. Machi and Marlin take initiative and begin to walk in that direction, noticing the same faint glow from before. Marlin raises a torch as he walks, lighting up the path ahead.
I suggest we move as a group, rather than not. Strength in numbers, you know?
As they approach, a faint hum emits from deep within the tunnel ahead of them, causing them both to pause for a second.
Do we all want to go through there and see where it leads us?
There's definitely something here if you all want to join us. The rest of the group walks over cautiously and joins them at the edge of the mysterious tunnel. Quack hands the tied-up goblin to Rio, who immediately baps it with the side of her sword to knock it out once more and slings it over her shoulder. Then the group enters the tunnel, following the aisle between the rows of chairs. As they move on, it seemingly became more and more decrepit, each chair being increasingly rotted away. The sound of the humming grows louder as they continue forward, soon filling the entirety of the tunnel with nothing but a loud, droning sound, pounding everyone's eardrums. Finally, they reach the source of the glow at the end of the tunnel. It's a wall. Within it is a neatly sculpted opening, taking up nearly the entire width of the wall. It's like a large doorway carved directly into the rock, but not leading anywhere. Along the rim of the opening are what appear to be light, transparent flames, with a sort of billowy paper texture to them. They almost feel as if they're not really there, despite being easily visible. They glow a bright yellow and emit no heat whatsoever. It's mesmerizing and hard to look away from. The droning sound is all around them now, but doesn't come from the flames. Instead, it's as if the earth itself was groaning in pain around them. Quack carefully lifts his glaive and pushes the handle end into the flames. He finds no resistance as it goes through and clinks against the rock wall on the other side. He draws it back and notices that it isn't hot at all. It felt like he had just pressed it through air, as if nothing was there. The party all look at each other in amazement. What if we poked the goblin through? Rio's eyes get a determined look to them at the thought. I'm just gonna stay over here as far away from that thing as I can get. But before Machi can back away, Rio nonchalantly just tosses the goblin right into the flames. It lets out a shrill shriek as it begins to awaken in midair, but it abruptly cuts it short as it passes into the fire. The droning sound is somewhat disturbed by a muffled thudding sound before going back to normal, and the goblin is nowhere to be seen. Rio! Everyone just stares at her in shock. Did it live? I don't know.
Maybe we should have tied it to a stick first.
The party looks at each other uncomfortably, while Rio just stands there, rather proud of herself.
Fuck it.
Quack braces himself and walks into the wall of flames, disappearing in an instant. Wait, oh god, no. To be continued. And that's it. That's chapter 1. That is all of chapter 1. Jodi is clapping. Thank you. So it did take a pretty decent amount of time to read that. I don't know when I started exactly reading it. Took about an hour to read through that, so that's pretty good. Yeah. Zach says, hell yeah. So what did everyone think of chapter 1? That was chapter 1 of Monster Play. Chapter 1 being called The Hunt, because it is the hunt for the Goblin King. I think it went rather nicely. I'm going to be writing chapter 2 and uploading that at some point as well. Something I've been kind of wanting to do or thinking about doing is trying to figure out if I can make this into like a visual novel sort of thing. Like at least like have it be presented that way. It wouldn't have like the visual novel, like you wouldn't be able to make choices or anything. It would just be presented like it would have the characters on the screen and the like location they're at on the screen. I'm wondering if I should do something like that. Zach says, I missed a good portion of it being a horse, but I did like it. What? What do you mean being a horse? What do you mean being a horse? Nonak says, is this based on a real campaign? It is. It, in fact, is based on a real campaign that I did on this channel a year and a half-ish ago at this point. Also, I need to pin my message from earlier. Pin message. So the pin message is, like, if anyone here wants to read the story themselves. Chapter 1. And like I said, I'll be uploading a chapter 2 at some point as well when I finish that one. But yes, if you go to my channel and go to the podcasts section, there is a podcast called TTRPG, which is Tabletop Roleplay Game, Monster Play. And it is just the playlist of every episode of this series. This whole chapter was just from episode 1 of the podcast, which was just the first session we had of playing this tabletop game. It started off as a D&D thing and then evolved into more of like a custom tabletop sort of game. But yeah, if you want to hear the characters in the story and our banter as we play along in the thing, it is actually on the channel where you can hear the whole thing. Most of these sentences are like word for word what the characters or players said in character for the story, with some adjustments just to make things fit a little bit better. But that is 1 out of 18 podcast episodes, podcast sessions. So that means each one of those episodes / sessions is going to be a chapter for the story if I do end up writing this whole thing, which means this is going to be between 500 and 600 pages by the end, which is pretty neat. How many words does that mean, I wonder? So that's like, if this one was, what'd I say? It was like, so it's 8.6 thousand. I gotta bring out a calculator now. So, 8, 6, Yeah, times 18. So by the end, this will be around 154,000 words. That is pure estimation. But yeah, no, that's it. That's it so far. I'm gonna go back to the other room now. Here we are back into the main room. I'm gonna put on some normal music. And now we can just chat for a little bit. You guys can tell me what you thought. If you have any feelings about the story so far. If you want to hear more, or if you like this sort of thing, this sort of reading stream. I've been thinking about doing reading streams for literally years now. I always like the idea of doing reading on stream like this. It's also why I have done several like visual novel series. She says, wait, am I late? Yeah, the stream started an hour and a half ago. I just finished doing the reading. I'm so sorry, seriously. I'm still going to chat here for a bit, though, but the reading has just been completed. But if you want to read it yourself, it's in the link in the chat that's pinned, or you can just rewatch the stream later. I should also put the link in... I should also put the link in the description. Yeah, I'm going to put it right in the description. Okay, so now the link is also in the description. If anyone wants to get it from there, they'd have to reload the page, but still.
Also, while we're talking about tabletop, it is probably worth mentioning that at some point we are finally going to be finishing or starting the campaign that we have been trying to do on this channel, like the next one, the one that started with the Quiet Year.
Yeah.
It's been slow doing like the prep for it basically, but it's going to happen and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
It is going to be so much fun. Okay, what's happening in chat? So yeah, awesome. We have to check it out sometime. It is a little bit old. It's like not long after I came out. I actually, funny enough, I'm pretty sure the first session was like a couple days after our first date, Jodi.
Oh, right, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I vaguely remember on our first date you telling me, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing like a thing you can watch, like a tabletop thing. And I did watch part of it, like live.
Well, now you've also heard some of the reading from it almost 2 years later.
Yeah.
So what else is in chat? Zach says, my 1-year-old niece was sitting on my back making me crawl around for her enjoyment. That's cute. Nox, I'm slowly getting into D&D. Another YouTube campaign pulled me down the rabbit hole. D&D is fun, but I always will have to recommend other tabletop systems. Because, like, people will very much so think of tabletop and then think D&D is, like, the only one that exists. But there are a lot of other ways to play and do, like, tabletop roleplay. And this one started off as a D&D thing and then turned into its own type of system later on. Like, just different rules for gameplay.
Like a homebrewed system.
Yeah, for different rules of gameplay. And I personally usually prefer those sort of things rather than D&D itself.
And our next campaign is going to be an Armor Astir because it's a much more suited system to the kind of story that we want to tell.
Yeah.
I don't think D&D is, like, awful or anything, but it's definitely, like, something that...
It's more crunchy.
It's more crunchy, and it's definitely much more specific than people think. Like, I would... It's really good for a few specific things, and people just kind of think of it as the only tabletop system, and that's kind of unfortunate.
SCP-939 Yacht Enjoyer says, yes, I completely understand. I don't. Well, that's okay. We so basically, it seems like a lot of people got here right as I finished the story. Seriously, SCP-939 Yacht Enjoyer, and kind of Zach, even though Zach was here earlier. So what happened is I just read Chapter 1 of Monster Play, which is my novelization, semi-novelization, transcript of one of my tabletop games I did on the channel a couple years ago. And I just read it, Chapter 1 of it, and I'm going to be making a new chapter every once in a while and posting it and probably doing a stream where I read it. That's what just happened. Just finished reading it, and now we're just talking about it and kind of hanging out. And I was going to get some music ready. That's what I was doing. What is this one? Whoa. That one's kind of dramatic. Well, what about this one? This is just my opening music, but it's good. Or my ending music, I think. It's my ending or my opening? I don't remember. It's not my normal opening. It's the Doomer opening. Whatever. Either way. Hi. would you read other people's work? Meaning, can I send you some of mine? I would love to do that. I like I said, reading streams is something I've been like thinking about doing for literal years, but just never ended up happening for whatever reason. Be it like me just thinking people wouldn't be interested in that, to like me just thinking it might be too much work to try to read something for an entire stream. But this one was like my own work, so it was a little bit easier to do. But like other people's work, I'd be happy to read too. Like if any of my friends here that I know want me to read something, I'd be happy to do that as well. Who the F keeps a kitchen knife on their desk? Cryptic. Cryptic does. That's Cryptic's knife. It's just here. I just have it. He lended it to me unknowingly. I stole it. I just keep it over here and just chill. Nonex is resuming vibing. Hell yeah. Vibing out to the jams. Vibing out to the jams. But yeah, I feel like it's a pretty simple chapter, a pretty simple story I just read. It's because it was a session 1 of a story. Like I said, I do think it'd be really cool to turn it into a visual novel style presentation. I don't know what programs there are to do that though. I like searched up a bit and there was like one out there that's like $60 and I don't know about that. Like I know how I would do it like in Photoshop or like Premiere Pro, but that means it would be like a slideshow or like a video, and I want something where people can actually like download it and click it themselves. But who knows, maybe I can make it like a video that I upload at some point that it appears like a visual novel. I don't know. I only heard of Ren'Py or Python. I don't know either of those. Is Ren'Py the one that costed $60? I don't remember. I mean, I've heard of both, but I guess I just don't know them. PDF? Maybe. I don't know. I imagine characters you played was Machi in the campaign. No, I was the DM, so I didn't... So all these characters were played by other people. The only one I played were the NPCs, which was Rio. So I played Rio. Machi was played by Human. Quackra was played by Brett. Marlon Damos was played by Delta. Echo Knight was played by Scarlet. And Machi Zeniford was played by Human. Did I say that already? And Mikael Turnblade was played by Miobi. So yeah, Mikael was Miobi, Machi was Human, Marlon was Delta, Quack was Brett, Echo was Scarlet, and then I was Rio. But that was like an NPC character because so the gameplay was a little different in that regard. Human casted as a human. Yup. Well, actually, no. Human wasn't a human character. Machi was a Spidere. One of the very few that are still there. Do all the characters have cards or illustrations? They do. I could actually go through those real quick. Right now, don't mind this card because it's not one of them, but it's not one of the ones we were just talking about. Okay. But let's look at the cards for each one of these characters. Not every one of them has a card yet, but I do want all of them to have cards. So Echo has a card. Here we go. Echo Knight, which was one of the characters from the story. Devil Outlander. And I can read it here to you guys. Echo is a quiet and mysterious devil with a big heart. She loves those she gets close to, but has trouble making friends. After spending a long time living with an adopted family after being reborn into the world, she now travels it, looking for exploration and adventure. I'm not really that active outside the forest, so this is all new. Her age is unknown, but she appears 24. Gender, female, she, her pronouns. Height, 5'2". Home, Cognatus Empire. Birthday, 26th of Donum, month of forgiveness, which is the equivalent of November 2nd. Ability class Primidiaire, which we will find out more about as Monster Play continues. So Echo has an interesting background as being a devil. Devils are like immortal species and don't really age technically beyond what they want to age. And Echo is one that happened to actually be killed. We don't know how. We don't know if it was through the typical devil sacrifice thing or in battle or whatever it was. But what we do know is someone tried summoning a dead devil for their own to be their own servant and summoned Echo for that. But what ended up happening is there was some sort of mess up with the summoning spell, and instead of summoning Echo as she normally would be, Echo was summoned as an infant somehow, an infant devil, which should not really technically be possible. And so he abandoned the infant devil on this ship of a bunch of people traveling from Piraskay to Cognatus Empire. A couple happened to find the baby and took it in, and she grew up to be Echo Knight. Pokemon card. Yeah, no, these are just my trading cards of the characters. So that is Echo. Let's see. I also have... I have one of Rio. There you go, Rio Raynell. Human Fighter. I do want to, like I said already, I want to make more of these for each one of the characters that show up in the campaign. But yeah. Rio Raynell. Human Fighter. Rio is a rather rambunctious character who will spout out the first words that come to her mind, quite unaware of what is normally socially acceptable. Recently, however, her life has taken a dark turn as she fought against her adoptive father's corruption and keeping the secrets of the Blue Mist from the public. It was her and her newfound friends that discovered this plot and released the power to the outside. "I'm going to harvest your meat, Mr. Wolf," is her quote. She is 24, she's female, her pronouns are she, they, he. She is 5'11", her home is Treblaskus in the Cognatus Empire. Birthday is 12th of Nalt, month of silence, September 21st. Ability class, Gauss. And that is Rio. The whole character description I just gave of Rio, you'll find, like, that was kind of like a very, 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 very basic synopsis of what you will hear in the rest of Monster Play if you either decide to watch it or listen to these stories as they are released. Okay, who else we got? We have Machi. There's Machi Zeniford with the art I showed earlier in the story, drawn by Human herself. Machi Zeniford, Spideri Druid. As a hatchling, Machi found herself in the home of a solitary bedridden druid who begged her to end their pain and return them to the cycle of life. So she did, and found herself changing into her current form. From then on, she grew up with a love for the world, but a dark awareness of the hate that some harbor for different groups of people. She decided to work towards making the world a better place, one adventure at a time. Sounds like food, let's go. Age 20, gender female, she, her. Height 5'1", home Sakar Forest in Piraskay. Birthday 4th of Sotul, month of wonder, which is the equivalent of April 26th. So that's his Gauss. That should actually also say Primidier. I will need to adjust that at some point. Cute glutton, yes, yes. That's how the Spideri characters work. She's a Spideri, I'm a Spideri, Leechy's a Spideri. Those are, like, so far the only known Spideris. Like, the truly known ones are Machi, me, and Leechy. But there's probably more we haven't heard about yet. They're very rare. The last card I have that is relevant to the story is a Gablin card. It's a card of just typical Gablin. A species card. Gablin. Species, Parput. Gablins are the sister race to goblins, the major difference being in bone structure and fat distribution. The Gablins are a lot bonier with tighter skin in comparison. Gablins are one of the more hated species of Monstra and are subject to an ongoing genocide. Started centuries ago. They have been driven away into caves and tunnels underground where their communities are most commonly found. They are often hostile due to the treatment of their species and will defend themselves. Life expectancy 45 years, under safer circumstances 65 years. Species type Parput. Parput meaning small head. Other Parputs include goblins and imps. Size normally 4 to 5 feet. Location most common in the Cognatus Empire, and they are common species. They are pretty easy to come across. And this is one of them right here. So this is what our gang just came across. Our squad. Goofy Goober, yes. I'm gonna put this card back over here for now. And that card I'm going to put behind the desk because that makes more sense. There we go. Alright. Cool. Cool. Goofy Goober. So, the other characters that don't have cards yet are Quack Raw, Mikhail, Marlin, and then a character you haven't met yet, which is Cameron's character, which we'll see in future episodes. I don't remember if Cameron's character comes in episode 2 or 3, but we shall see. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying the story. We're kind of just going to hang out now. If anyone has any more questions for the story or just has words to say. Jodi, what are you playing?
Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
Nice. Jodi's been on a Half-Life kick recently.
Just finished Half-Life Alyx earlier today.
Yeah.
For the first time. That was a really good game.
Mooper says, it's really hard to like one because I really like all the creations you made, Peppa. Thank you, Mooper. Thank you, child. I'm glad you like my characters. I love my characters. They mean a lot to me. And, like, of course, these characters that we were just talking about are not just my characters. These characters, like Machi and Quack and all that, are other people's characters made for the tabletop that we all worked on together. So they are not just mine. They are very heavily other people's as well. But it's really awesome. I love making things with people. Mooper says, hi, Mama Jodi.
Hello.
Yeah. Sergio says, is the campaign still on YouTube? I'm tempted to just go watch it. It is. Maybe I should post that as well. I'll post that in the chat real quick.
It's cool that this seems to be making people interested in the campaign. I guess a lot of people didn't know about Monster Play.
I guess not, because it's a little older now.
Yeah.
I just put a link to the playlist that is for, like, the podcast where we did Monster Play. There are a total of 18 episodes as the whole story. And like I said, I'm hoping to transcribe as much of it as I can. It's a lot of work. It took me a few weeks just to write the thing you guys just saw. So, who knows if I'll be able to actually have the energy to do every single episode this way. But, we'll see. Sergio says, I knew about it, but as it happened, I could not show up to the live, so I missed most of it. Ah, okay. That makes sense. That is valid. I don't know if I should add this to the playlist of Monster Play, just because it was me reading it basically on stream. Surgitim is not Tim. Surgitim is Surgit. Everyone messes this up. I've seen it so often. Surgitim is not Tim. Surgit is Surgit.
Surgeon, I'm.
Yes. Mooper says, I love hearing Monster Play. Heck yeah, I'm so glad. I represented each of the characters with a different color too, to kind of like go off of like what their personality types are and what they're about. Like Machi was green, like her text was green because she's a druid and is caring and like calm. Well, not calm. She's very awkward and silly and like high energy, but she is caring and soft-hearted. And I thought green fit that. Quack makes me think of the color red. But because Rio makes me think of the color red even more so, Quack got like a kind of like tannish, brownish color, like a mahogany color. Rio got the color red because there's just very much so, she's covered in red. Marlin got the color yellow, just because Delta makes me think of the color yellow, and because, actually, I could show you guys what some of these characters look like too. Let me show you what some of these other characters look like. Because you didn't get to see what Marlin looked like. Purely because there's not a drawing of Marlin. So Marlin is this character here. So this is Marlin. This was made in just like a online model maker thingy. I didn't make it. I think Delta made it himself. So, but this is what Marlin looked like, the guard character. He was a guard. He's a guard. This is Marlin the guard. He's a city guard though. Didn't come from Metamok. Came from somewhere else. Here is another really good art of Machi, done by human. Oh my gosh, that is large. Hang on. I love it. This art is so cute. Machi is so cute. Human made a good character. So yeah, this is Machi, drawn by human again. She wears a mask. She does. Very good character. But this is her in a more like upgraded gear, so that's gonna be like later in the story. Like currently, this was the first drawing of Machi, as you can see here. Drawn by human. This is like the idea of the character. Spidere, eats people, eats things, does all that good stuff. Good character. Is the same species as Lychee and me. I like Machi a lot. This is one of the earlier designs. Let's see what else we got in this whole thing. Also, once again, like, drawn by human. Here is a picture of Echo that was drawn by human, which is cool. Human did a lot of art while we did this series, which is awesome. This one you saw in the story itself, and also in the card. This is the one of Machi spraying the poison on that one goblin. Here's some art of Mikhail and Quack. Mikhail sipping a drink while Quackra is holding up the skull that he has. Good stuff. I love it. I love it. The characters are so fun. The campaign we did was so fun. Nox says she's pretty, and Surges is cute. Mooper says, ooh, I love the extra details. Yeah, these are so good. Tim says, want to see your mouth? There was the mouth. You saw it, right? It was there. Well, where is it? You did see it, yeah. And then, so an interesting. Oh, here's actually here is the Mikhail art done by Miyobi. So the person who played Mikhail, Miyobi, drew their character themselves, and this is him, Mikhail. It's like a higher definition, closer up image that you can see. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Mooper says, oh, I would love to show some of Mooper's art of the past campaigns. You should send some in the Discord server. Mooper says, oh, Miyobi is such a wonderful and cute artist. I agree. Miyobi's art is so good. The thief. Yep, this is the thief character. He's kind of a jork, but he's fun. He's great. He's a little angry boy. And I want to draw all these characters on my own at some point too. What else we got here? We have another picture of a goblin. Another picture of a goblin right here. That was very poorly done by me on like a couple years ago. I think my newer rendition of the goblins is a little bit better. We have a human version of Machi named Mandy, drawn by human. Because there's gonna be a Christmas special, like in the, if you go to the playlist, the podcast playlist, there is a Christmas special that I will also hopefully get to be able to write at some point, where the characters, it's like human versions of the characters on Earth, just having an interesting experience. And so this is what human Machi would look like, which is pretty cool. Very cool. I love the coat. Very creative, very sparkly, very nice. It's wholesome, heck yeah. What else we got in here? One of the characters that we will meet in future chapters, as they're written, or if you go back to the podcast, is Cameron's character, like I was mentioning, who is like a Gylax, which is the same species as my character Isla. And this is that character. Whoops. Hang on. There you go. Weirdo fish person. Also made in that program from earlier. Non-canon side story? It is canon is the thing, though. It's not non-canon, it is canon. So, You know how on my lore streams, if anyone wants to go back in their memories and think, and remember the lore streams from like a month or two ago, I talked about how in this world, not the whole non-linear time thing is a thing, and how present-day Earth is connected in some very weird ways to the world of Monastery Lost. So what that means is there are like almost duplicates or alternate versions of characters on Earth that are just humans. And they have no idea about like Monastery Lost and vice versa, but they are still canon to the same world and stuff like that. Just because time is funky, magic is there, and there's a lot to learn. So Mandy does exist in the same universe as Machi. Wired, he's beautifully fishy. Yeah, this is a fishy sort of person here. Quite fishy.
Boo.
What? That wasn't even supposed to be a pun. I have art I did at some point of Quack Raw as well that you saw in the draw, or not the drawing, the writing there in the pages. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Oh, it's a big picture. Let me transform it to fit to screen. There we go. Maybe I should switch that with this so you can see a little better. There you go. That is Quack Raw, the bird guy. The skull used to be like a more like a reptilian skull, but we changed that to be not that. So if you look at this other image I have, it's a like more human shaped skull. But yes, Quack. This is Quack Raw. Reminds me of the Predator, but fish. Nice. What a beautiful bird. Yes, he is quite a beautiful bird, isn't he? He's fun. I like his big ol' eyes. He's a freaky little guy. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else past that, but those are the characters. Heck yeah. There's gonna be more that we'll meet as time goes on. We're gonna have to find out what happens in that wall of flames that Quack Raw and the Goblin disappeared into. That should be fun. We'll see what that all means. I'm really glad you guys like my stories and my world. The world means a lot to me, and being able to share it means a lot to me. And I'm really glad that other people can like add to it as well. I have more cards to make, more stories to make, a lot to do, a lot of good stuff to continue on with. Yeah, that's about that. Jodi, what do you think of the world?
Sorry?
What do you think of the world?
I think it's cool. And I'm really going to enjoy doing our own campaign in that world. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying expanding on it myself a little.
Especially
because we already did that a little in Quiet Year.
Yeah, so that's another thing. If you go also to my podcast on my channel again as well, and click on the other podcast up there that's called The Quiet Year of the Lopi. I believe that is what it is called. Quiet Year of the Lopi, yeah. That is a separate story that I did with Jodi, who was the GM this time for that one, and a few others, where we do a whole separate story that is somewhat connected, and we do a lot of world building in it. It's not specifically D&D, it's a different type of tabletop where we did a lot of world building, and we are soon going to be doing a more in-depth kind of like personal character-driven story based off of the world building we did in that series, which is going to be coming at some point soon.
If you do go back to the Quiet Year to listen to it, or the Quiet Year of the Lopi, the first half or so of the first episode's a little rough. It gets better. Stick with it.
Yes, it gets better. It was a little rough because we were figuring stuff out. We know what we were doing exactly yet. Yes, it was our first attempt at that sort of series, so it was a little bit more rough compared to. I mean, the beginning of Monster Play is also a little bit rough because it was the first type of tabletop like that I had done on a stream. So they both start off a little rough, but they're neat. I promise. Mooper says, why wouldn't we? You do so much and you deserve a lot of love, and I love learning worlds. Oh, thank you. I love sharing worlds. It means a lot to me. I'm so glad I get to share them and express myself through them. It genuinely means a lot to me to be able to do so. There's a lot of meaning behind them. A lot of learning I've done in creating them and all that. And that is something special. And I'm happy I can share that special thing with all of you. I just realized I've been in top chat. Have I missed any messages? Doesn't look like it. Zach says they start out rough. Haru isn't in it. Haru isn't in it. Rough like dog. Zach, you're reaching at this point. You're reaching.
You know what's funny about that? There was another puppy in that game, though.
Yes.
Besides Haru.
Yes.
Because Haru wasn't there. To be fair.
I've had multiple puppy girls show up on this channel at this point. We just seem to like attract them all over the place, Jodi.
We're dog people.
I'm not. I mean, like, I'm a cat girl, but dog girls seem to show up around me. It's always smelling my butt. That's what dogs do. So, yeah, I guess I'll end this here. Nice, quick, tiny stream. Just about 2 hours long. I think it was pretty good. I didn't want to make it too long because it was just a good explanation of this whole thing. Mooper says, we need a fantasy version of Haru. Ding. So, fun fact, Haru and all the others also exist within this world because it's this world. I exist in this world. That means they exist in this world because they've interacted with me. So there we go. But that doesn't mean they exist on that exact planet. Maybe they're still from Earth. I'm from Monastery Lost and Earth. See this room you see me in right now? This is on Monastery Lost. This is in Pepton, my town of Pepton. Would Mooper exist? Yes. Yes, Mooper exists. Mooper exists. All of my chat exists. Because because my streams are supposed to be canon to all of this whole world. So, I'm just streaming to Earth from Monastery Lost. You can see my house here. You can see the green trees out there. See that map over there? That's the map of Pepton. Out there, the trees. If you go a couple miles in that direction, you'll reach the town of Metamok. It's just a few miles out there, the town where all this started. And then if you go a few miles past that, you can reach the cave where they went into. It's all out there. This world, it's all part of it. It's all connected. It's all connected! SCP-939 Yacht Enjoyer says, the fuck am I then? You're a person that I'm streaming to. Nonex says, do I exist is the real question though. You all exist, every one of you. Nonex, yes, you exist. Because you're in my chat, and this stream is canon to my universe, so therefore you do exist.
It's very meta that in universe, people just talking about the universe has happened in that way.
Well, I've talked about that, how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's because non-linear time. The whole thing is that I wrote this story, and me being how the term primidiar we used earlier, means that it made the story real, but also it didn't. Because time is non-linear in this situation, it's not just one line, it's like a whole 3D sphere of time. It's what it is I made the story, but also the story made me make the story. It's funky. The story exists because I wrote it, but also me writing it exists because the story exists. It all happened. It's real. I made it up, but it's also real. Thank you, Jonathan Frakes.
It never happened.
I made it up. It's real. I can say that. It's like a biography. Yeah.
This one was made up by a team of writers. Therefore, it's the real one.
Yes, that is how it works. See, like, because fuck the rules is basically the thing. So when you write a story, you're like, hey, I just wrote a story. I made it up. That means it's fiction. It's not real. For me, it's I just made a story. I made it up. It is real. That's how my world works. Zach says, even the straight me? No, that's actually the only difference. Is that Zach is there, but he's bi. Just a little bit less straight, like a little bi. That's the only difference. I'm joking.
I don't think someone being bi makes them more straight.
No, that's true. I didn't mean it that way. That was bad phrasing on my part. Knox says, alright, I won't change my name, though. What do you mean changing your name? What are you doing with your name? Mooper says, ooh. Yeah, I always feel like it's very confusing to explain that. It might sound convoluted, but I'm trying to make it not convoluted. It's meta, but, like, it works. The world exists, all of you exist, this stream exists, every one of my streams exists. I have lived a life as Pepper, the human on Earth, while simultaneously living a life as Pepper on Monastery Lost, the Spidere. Non-existent name pun. Oh, I feel like you might have said that before and I forgot. Or you didn't, and I just didn't know. Either way, now I get it.
She did say it. I remember that.
I forgot. I'm a silly brain.
I remember because I care about our viewers.
Oh, man. I'm a bad person.
Yep.
You gonna beat me up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. 939 is real. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Mooper exists as a human, but also as Mooper. Hell yeah. See, I love that sort of canon. Like, just the rules are stupid. Like, what if, like, we already know, realistically, like, we can't, as humans, like, comprehend everything that is the universe in real life. So, like, why not write a story and have a world exist in that similar way? And there's ways to that, like, that could just be bad writing, but I'm trying to make it good writing.
I'm trying to do the bad part, but actually good.
I'm trying.
I'm trying to do good writing. See, that's the thing. People don't try to do good writing enough.
People don't try to do bad writing good. Goodly. Nonik says, Jodi is so sweet. Yeah, beating me up and all that. Yeah. Zach says, Jodi cares about me? Jodi?
Who?
Sorry, Zach. Anyways, yeah. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. The existences are simultaneous. Jodi, fantastic mama. Hell yeah, Jodi. You're a good mama.
Yep. Who's my kid again? Do I have one of those?
Mooper.
Do I?
Don't forget about your children. Don't forget about your children. Jodi.
Do I have those?
Yes, right here.
Huh. If you say so.
You gave birth. You're the one that gave birth here. Don't you remember?
No, I think I'd remember that.
That's what I'm saying. This happened on stream. I thought you said you cared about the chat.
Who?
Oh man. Jodi's just freaking gaslighting me right now. Behold your child. Are you serious?
Is who serious?
Jodi is having an identity crisis. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you very much for watching. This was good. This was a good reading stream and then chatting stream. It was real tiny. Like 2 hours feels so short for me now when I'm used to like 4 to 5 hour streams. This feels like a tiny thing. This would be like normally not even halfway, but now I'm ending it. It's all weird. What's happening? But you know what? Maybe that's for the best this time because it'll keep it nice and compact. It'll make the stream nice and easily rewatchable for those who want to go and hear this story again. And like I said before, link is in the description if you want to read the story yourself. I put the link in the chat. Also, if you want to go and see the podcast, tabletop podcast this was based off of, Actual Play Podcast is what it's called, right?
Yes, that's usually
Actual Play Podcast. If you want to go see where this story came from and see it in action, you can go check out the podcast tab on my channel. So thank you so much for watching. You're all wonderful, beautiful people. I love you so much. If you'd like to support me, please consider becoming a member. If you do, you get special benefits like emotes, badges, shoutouts, and even the possibility of joining me on streams, which is cool. Let me see. My tier 3 full tummy is Mooper, my baby. Thank you so much for being full tummy, baby. And my tier 2 treats are J Hill and Pie the Queen of Orange, and my tier 3 grubs are Waffle, your friendly neighborhood UK Ball, Myobitan, Yagano Clickstrobe, Halligan Wolf, Jade Bapples, Jodi, Sonic Hedgehog 34, Shiny Warrior Wolf, Raynon Dezanius, Captain Firespitter, and Bad Shark CRC. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world to me. Love you too, Mooper. Yay. Yeah, we always love Mooper around here, except for Jodi because Jodi forgot about having children.
Who did?
Yep. You're a problem. You're
I forgot
problematic.
about having what?
Do you know what a child is?
Who are you?
Okay. Mooper says, love you too, Jodi. Are you gonna... And then SCP-939 just says, dementia. Are you even gonna say love you too to your child?
I love you too.
Yay! Good job, Jodi. Okay. I like SCP-939 just going, dementia.
For some reason, it feels like a James Randall quote.
Dementia. Do you just like, you just diagnosed it just now? You did that? Thank you. I appreciate the diagnosis. Okay. Other ways you can support are through donations, through Super Chat or Streamlabs. They help. They get us groceries, which we are always in need of. So any donations help. Right now, donations are going to... Let me put the thing up. If it's even here. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. There you go. Whoa. This should be on the screen here as well. So we have a Super Hat Joel.
Super Hat Joel.
Super Hat Joel. That feels like it'd be a character name.
Yeah.
Super Hat Joel.
Write that down.
Someone should write that down. It's not gonna be me because I don't feel like doing that right now. But yeah, so we have a donation goal right now, which is me playing the really annoying game, getting over it, while also speaking in third person for the entire thing, which sounds like a pain.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I added that part recently.
Who added that part?
It's not even happening right now.
I'm giving you practice.
So any groceries donations will go to this also. Yay. Yay. Besides that, link to my Discord server and my Blue Sky and the Team V-Spire Discord server in the description below. I love all you. Mooper will cheer for you, Mama Peppa. Thank you, Mooper. Thank you for becoming a member today also, by the way. That does also help us with groceries. Thank you.
It does.
Alright. Goodbye, bye-bye. Goodbye, bye-bye. Goodbye, bye-bye. See you later. Goodbye, bye. Thank you for listening to my story. Bye-bye. 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 Huh? Huh?